guys, welcome to this video. In this video, let's learn how to do an object rotation. So we're going to pick an object and get it to rotate in 360 degrees. In this particular video, we're going to be getting a car to rotate in 360 degrees, all right? So follow this video to the end so that you can learn everything that we have to share on object rotation.
Okay guys, let's design a vehicle. We're going to try and design this car in this tutorial. Alright, so we're working with this reference file that I got from just making a simple Google search. Alright, so we'll be using this as our reference file. So let's get into this. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is, as usual, we'll fix this into a group. We'll call this our car. Okay, so we're going to be starting with the tires. Alright, so I'll call this my T1. Let's just call it a T1 for now. So let's bring this in and let's create a simple tire. So I'm going to be starting with shape, circle. First, I'll just go ahead and draw a simple circle. I'm going to leave it at black. Turn off this. Okay, so I'm going to make a duplicate by pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Now I'm holding down the Shift and Alt key, and I'm going to squash this so that my mouse is misbehaving. So I'm going to hold down the Shift and the Alt key so that I can squash it evenly. Okay, I'm holding down just the Alt keys so I can squash it down evenly. I'm going to raise the opacity a little, the color, make it a little bit brighter. Alright, so the next thing, I'm still going to make a duplicate by clicking Ctrl C, Ctrl V. And then I'm going to use this as the center point, and I'm going to drop this down to black. Okay, the next thing is we're going to create 5 triangles. So I'm going to create just one. Start with 1. Turn on stroke. Create my first triangle. Okay, I'm going to bring it in, leave it somewhere here. I'm going to add a point, get this curved a little, increase the curvature. Right, so I'm going to make a duplicate of this, call this CV. And I'm going to flip it. Holding down the Shift key, I'm going to pull it all the way down. Right, I'm going to copy this too. Do a CV, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Hold down the Shift key to rotate it. Alright, so I think we can work with this for our car wheel. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few points. I'm going to add a point here. I'm going to add a point here. Okay, so right now I'm going to rearrange these curved points so that So they are straight. I'm going to move this out a little. Just going to do basic tweaking to return my shape back to circular. Alright, so I think we can work with this. Okay, so I think we can work with this, alright? So for this tires, I'm going to be doing my first turn. So I'm going to do a 3D rotation for the tire. I'm going to do a 3D rotation for the tire. So I'm going to do convert this into a bone. Then I'm going to activate my animated layer order. Okay, so let's proceed. So right here I'm going to fixing my first bone. Alright, so I'm going to add my first bone here. Add it and call it. So I'll call this my tire turn. Okay, I'm going to make a smart bone dial by using my shortcut key Shift Q. Alright, 180 degrees on both sides and 96 frames. Alright, so let's return this back to 180. Alright, so the first turn is going to be 180 degrees and the second turn is going to be 96. It's going to be 180 degrees as well, okay? This is 180 on both sides. So let's start with the first tire turn. So at this point, we want our tire to be facing us. So I'm going to select all these points. They'll just squash it. Completely, and then I'm going to change the curvature, sharpen the curvature. Okay, so this is what we have, guys. Right, let me not sharpen the curvature for them all. Right, so let's proceed from here. I'm going to sharpen the curvature for this point, holding down Shift Control for this point, for this point, and for this point. Let's sharpen this. Okay, so we have something like this. Okay, so I'm going to be pulling out this point, this point, and this point. I'm going to be pulling them out just so we can give the tire a little bit of volume. Okay, so we have this. Let's make this circular. Then we're going to be reducing. Okay, make this circular as well. Pull it back. So we just basically want the tire to be okay, so this is what we got for the tire turn, guys. Maybe at this point I can pull this out a bit just to compensate for the other side. Okay, so I'm going to select just these points. I'm going to draw a circle, just the inner parts. I'm going to select just the inner parts. Okay, so On the 49th frame, I'm going to move this all the way to this side. Okay, so on the 96th frame, I'm going to select all the points and I'm going to reset. Select the curvature as well. I'm going to reset everything. Alright, so we have something like this. Alright guys, so this is our first tire turn. Work on the other side as well. So for the other side, I'm going to just copy the keyframes from here. We'll copy the entire keyframes. We'll just be making just one change. Just one change. So on the first frame, I will paste. So we have this. Right. So the only change we're going to be making is these points. Let's select. Since all the points are selected, I'm going to hold down Shift, Control, Alt, and click just the points that I don't want to be selected. So I've unclicked the outer parts. So on the 48th frame, this is going to be here. Right, on the 49th frame, it's going to be on the other side. Right, so that's just basically the difference between them both. So right now we're converging to this side. This is converging to this side, and then it's showing up from the other side. Alright guys, so that's for our tire turn. So let's check and be sure that it's working fine. Okay, so we have this. This is our simple tire turn. Our tire is turning around. Alright, I think we can make one correction because we want our tire. That's why I brought it to this point. So I'm going to select everything. I'm going to place it, the tire, exactly at the middle of this origin, this cross. Okay, on frame 0, I want the tire to be exactly at the middle. Okay, so on the 48th frame, I want the tire to remain at the middle. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to bring this back to this place. Alright, on the last frame, I'm going to select everything and reset as usual. We'll do the same for here. On the 48th frame, I want the tire to remain at the middle. On the next frame, I'll select just these parts. Then I'll move it all the way to the side. Alright guys, there you have it, your tire turn. Okay, so we have this. Okay, so next we're going to be making 4 duplicates of this tire. Okay, so I'm going to create a grid. I'll call this a grid. And then I'm going to be using 4x4. I'll just use the select shape tool to select the fill and turn off the fill, turn on the outline. The outline, I'm going to increase the size. Alright, so that I'll get to know where I want my tires to be positioned. So my 4 tires, I'm going to select. I'm going to reduce the scale. Okay, so I'm going to position my tire somewhere here. The second tire will be somewhere here. Okay. Alright, so that's why I'm making use of this grid. So the tire should be at the middle. Alright, so I'll call this my front left tire. Make a duplicate. Still at the same position. I'll call this my front right tire. Right, so I'm going to make another duplicate. These two, I'm going to move them to this place. I'm going to call this my rear left tire. And then this, I'll call it my rear right tire. Okay. So we've got 2 tires in front and 2 tires at the back. Okay guys, so next thing we're going to work on is to create the rotation just for the tires. So I'll turn off my grid for now. The rotation just for the tires. So I'm going to create a new bone. Then I'm going to add it here, and then I'm going to call this the car turn. Make a smart bone dial, 180 degrees on both sides. I'll return this to 270 so that it's pointing 180, sorry, so that it's pointing the direction that I want my car to start. Then I'll make some corrections, return this 180 degrees, and then for the other side I also complete the 180 degrees for this side. Okay, 180 degrees. Okay, so let's start with this. On the 48th frame, the first carton on the 48th frame, I want this bone to rotate 270 degrees. Alright guys, you can see we have all the tires are rotating, and then right here I want it to rotate the other direction. Okay, so this is what we have. Right now guys, for the rear tires, I want to remove this tire turn should only affect the front tires and not the rear tires. Okay, so I want to move, for the rear tires, I want to move the keyframes from the tire turn to the car turn. Right, so the rear tire should only turn when the car turn is turning. Right, so I'm going to select the first rear tire. For the first turn, I'm going to copy all the keyframes from here. I'm going to cut no more keyframes. Then I'll go to the first car turn and paste the keyframes here. Right, so we have the keyframes here. I'll do the same for the second tire turn, copy, and then for the second car turn, I'm going to come to the first frame and to the 0 frame and paste. Right, So right now, I don't want the back tires to move when the tire is turning, just when the car is turning, okay? So let's do that for the other rear tire. For the other rear tire, instead of doing that, let me just delete this and then make a duplicate of this. Duplicate. Then rename it my rear right tire. Okay, so if you don't understand, please make sure you go back and replay this video. Okay, so let's now work. So let's see what is happening here, guys. Okay, so for the front tire turn, it's just the front tires that I want them to turn. Oops, there's a correction I didn't make, so let's get back to the rear tire. I'm supposed to delete this. Do that also for the rear left tire. Let's delete all these keyframes. Right guys, so right now all we want to achieve is that we don't want any rotation for the back tires when the front tire is turning. Right, however, we want the entire tires to turn. We want a rotation for all the tires when the car is turning, okay? For the car turn number 2 to the other side, I'm going to rotate this bone as well. Right, so main frame, back to the main line. Okay, so now all tires rotate when the car is turning, but only the front tire rotates when we want to navigate. Do you understand? Okay, so let's continue to our car turn. For our car turn, we're going to move the front tires. The front left tire, I'm going to move you in to this point. For the front right tire, let's turn back our origin. Turn our grid tool, let's turn it back on. Let's return back to the car turn. So on the 48 frame, I want the front tires to come close. Okay, so right now we are assuming that the outermost tires that they are the left ones. So the left tire should remain on top. The lefts should remain on top. Okay, so the left tire should remain on top while the right tires remain beneath. So on the 48 frame, the left tires should come all the way to this place. Alright, and the left back tire should come behind it. Okay, so we have this. The right should remain under. So we have this. Okay, so we have these guys. Right, so the front right tire would come to somewhere here. The rear right tire should come beneath. Okay, so we have these guys. Then at this point, The front left tire would come all the way back here. Okay, so let's use the grid this time. I would have just exchanged positions, but I don't want it to get confusing at this point. So we have you here. The front right tire should also come to the same position. Then the rear tire should now return back to this point. The rear tires should return back to this position. Okay guys, so you see what we have. Okay, so right now I'm going to change the color for these tires so that we can be able to differentiate them. So this, I'm going to call it red. So let the left tires be colored something similar. This should be a darker red. Then the right tires, the front right tire should have a green. The rear right tire should also have darker green. The rear left tire should have darker red. Okay, so we're sure the red ones are on top, the green ones are beneath. So this is what we have, guys. Okay, so at this point on the 48th frame, we're going to do some animated layer upgrade. That's why we turned it on initially. Okay, so at this point, we want the red guys to go beneath the green guys. So we're going to select all the red guys. The left, the right will go above the greens. Okay, so this is what we have. So the reds are on top while the greens are beneath. So guys, can we see how the tires are turning? Okay, so let's proceed. So we've got it for the first carton. For the second carton, we're going to be doing the same thing. On the 48th frame, let's move the front tires first. So move them to the middle of this grid. So we're in the middle, front tires first. Then the green one will come all the way to this point. So we're in the middle. Right, so the right rear tire would come all the way to this point. Then we'll complete it with the left rear tire to this point. And then right here, we'll return back to here. Okay, I think something is wrong with our movement. Let's repeat it. The movements, let's repeat, make a repetition. Okay, so on the 48th frame, we want the red tires to be on this side, while the green tires will be on this side. Okay, so the red tires on this side, red comes here, and then the green tires will be on this side. So the first green comes to this place, second green comes here. Okay, so what do we have here, guys? So we have this. Alright, so on this frame, we're going to reset the tires back. So the red tires come to this place, complete their journey by getting back here. I'll just use the control to move it gently. Right, the next red tire returns back here, the same point. Then the green tires would all come over to this side. Okay guys, so we have, let me turn off the grid. So we have this. Okay guys, let's work on the other carton for the other side. So on the 48th frame, we want the let me turn on my grid. Once the red tires come here, middle, red tire comes here, the green tire comes here to somewhere at the middle of these two lines. Okay, so we have this. And then on the 96th frame, the red tire comes here, and the second red tire comes here, the front tire comes here, front tire comes here. Okay guys, so this is what we have. Okay, so we're going to be doing some animated layer ordering. So on frame 1, the red tire would come above, the red tire should come above the front tire. So I'll push this to the top and I'll push this to the top. Alright, so the red tires are now above the front tires because this rotation now is is so that we can see the back of the car. Okay, so we have this. Right, so on the 48th frame, please take note, on the 48th frame, the right tires will now come above the rear tire. Okay, so this is what we have. So right now the back tires, this back tire is on top of this back tire, right? So excuse me, this rear tire is above this front tire. Okay, because we want this to be on top of this, right? On this frame, the green tires that were behind, right? So at this point the green tires are behind. At this point we're bringing the green tires in front, so we have this to complete the rotation. Okay, so we're going to set all our keyframes to linear. So ensure you set all keyframes to linear. Ensure you set all keyframes to linear. Right guys, so we have this. Okay, so that's basically how we do the rotation for the tires. So let's test and be sure that everything is working fine. So this is the front, this is just for the front tires, and then this is for the entire car. So the tires can also rotate. The front tires can rotate. Alright, at any position the front tires can still rotate. Right, even when we're behind on the other side, the front tires can rotate as well. Okay guys, that's it for the tires. We're going to be proceeding. I'll reset everything. We're going to be proceeding with building the body. Right, so the car body, we'll get into building it right now. Let me save this and call it my car. Right, so now let's proceed to building the car's body. Alright, so guys, let's build our car's body. So to do this, you need of course you need a good knowledge about masking, a good knowledge about how to bore a hole through a vector shape, right? And I think those are the two things that you have to take very note of as we proceed, right? So first of all, let me take you through how you can bore a hole through a vector shape. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make a new layer. Oops. On frame 0, let's make a new layer. Alright, we'll call this our car. Let's just call this our mask. Okay, so this is our mask. I'm going to fix it into a group and call this our body. Okay, so this is how you bore a hole through an object. So I'm going to draw just a simple shape, and on this shape I'm going to draw a second shape. Alright, so when you draw a second shape on top of an existing shape, you select all the points and click the shape builder tool. Alright, this is the create shape tool. So Moho will automatically detect the inner part as the inner outline for your shape. Alright, so I'll just come here and click create shape. Alright, so Moho has just created a shape for us that has a hole. Okay, so I'll use my shape builder tool and select the inner part and delete it, select it again and delete. So right now we have a shape that has got a hole through it. Okay, so we're going to be building on this concept for this tutorial. So let's proceed. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my car body. So I'm going to learn. I'll just learn from what they have here. So let's go into that. Alright guys, so we'll just work with this. I've transferred it here. Then I'm going to scale it up. I'll just increase the length. Alright guys, so we're going to be working with this will be our car body. Alright, so let me enable masking for the car body. I'm going to enable masking. So this is going to be my mask. Alright, so my mask, I want it to be invisible. Add to mask but keep invisible, okay? So on this mask, I'm going to add, let me just call this the skin, the car skin. And then on this car skin, I'm going to draw a big vector shape. Right, so the color for this car is coming from the skin. Right, so I'm going to just pick the same color as the car we have here. Same color as the car we have here. So work on that, work with that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'll just come here and pick. I'll also work on the glass. So I'm just going to use the add point tool to draw my glass. Just pick the glass. I'm doing this because of time. I would have designed my own car, but let's just work with what we have here because of time. Okay, so let's add a few points. Okay, you know what? Let's just work with let's just go straight to making the door. So I'm going to click here, here. So let's select all this and move it in. Oops, something has gone wrong. So let's recreate our car's body. Okay. Right, so now I'm going to select this. I'm going to scale it up to fit my door. I'll make a duplicate of this and I'll turn off one of them just as a backup. Alright, so guys, I'm going to delete this point. So I'm going to select all the points with Ctrl A and I'm going to create a shape. Now that I created a shape, I want to delete just this point. Okay, I'm supposed to be working with this. Let me delete this as well. So this, my skin now, I'm going to make a duplicate of it and turn this off. Select this, the skin, the one that we're working on. So select all the points, then create our shape. Then we're going to delete every other thing except, right, so you can see now we have a hole through our car door. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this little. So this is like the hole through our door. Okay, so let's position this well. Alright guys, so this is the hole through the door. I'm going to assume that this is or let me just right, so right now this will now become like our door. Okay, so this is our door, so we're going to delete this. This is now our car door. Let's make some arrangements here. I think we should take some things. Right guys, so this is our car door. That means if we should squash this, we can see the door open and close, right? So maybe we can get into how we can open this door, but for now let's turn this door off. Let's work on the back glass. So I'll assume that this is a one door car, so I'll just work on the back. Okay, so let me just add the door, the back glass. I'll just do add points. Okay, so we'll just add a few points, then we're good. You know what? Maybe we can just make this a two-door car. Let's just create the second door. Okay, so just as the other guys, let's bore a hole through this place too. So I'll just create my shape and I click enter. So then I can just Let's copy this shape, and paste it in the door. Okay, paste it in the door so that we'll have a copy in case we're coming back to make a door. So from the skin, we'll now create our shape, select everything, create our shape, then we'll delete the parts that we don't want, delete all these parts. Right, so you see we have a shape, a hole, second hole through our door, and then on this will now become our door. So let's make a few adjustments. Now let's just delete this door. Let's duplicate this skin and call it door. Right, so we're going to delete just the outer parts. Alright, so I deleted the outer parts of the skin. I deleted the outer parts, so the inner remains. Okay, so this is our door. Alright guys, so let's proceed. So we've gotten the legs, we've gotten the body. So let's work on our first rotation. Let's work on our first car rotation, first body rotation. So let's work on the car turning to this side. So at this point, we're going to rearrange this mask to look like this front part of the car, right? So I'm going to select, okay, so I'm going to select just this part of the tire, this part of the car. I'm going to squash it, squash completely. I'm going to sharpen it if possible, and I'll place it just at this point. So we have this, right? So the other parts of the car, I'm going to bring them in. Let's use the magnetic tool to push, push, push. Okay, so from here, I'll come to my mask and I'll start working on my car rotation. Alright, so on the 48th frame, I'm going to select on the 48th frame, I'll make sure that my car body still remains on top. Alright, so I'm going to select from the mask this time, not from the skin. I'll select just the tire holes. Okay, and then I'll squash them completely. And then I'll make them sharp. Alright, so I'll position them just right at this point. completely squashed. Okay, so we have this. Alright, so at this point, let's rearrange the body to look like this. Okay, so let's do that. Use the magnetic tool. I'm going to push these parts, push them in. Okay, so they're going to be straight. So we've got this. Okay, so let's also work on the other side. So bring this in. Alright guys, so we have this. Right, so at this point we're going to flip the body. We're going to flip it. Alright, so right now you can see that our mask, we need to move her in a little. So let's push this out a little, these points, to cover these tires. Okay, we'll flip. Then at this point, select all the points and reset. We'll also reset the curvature. Reset curvature as well. So we have this for our simple car turn. Okay. Let me reduce the curvature of this point. Just reduce a little. So that's it guys, that's basically how we have our car rotating. Okay, The next thing we want to work on would be on the glasses and the doors. The glasses and the doors. Alright, so the first thing we want to do, the glasses and the doors. Okay, but first let's copy the keyframes from here. Copy. Let's go to the other side of the action, and right here we're going to paste the keyframes. Paste the keyframes we copied from the other side, or we didn't copy it. For the mask, let's copy all the keyframes. Copy. Then for the other side of the rotation, let's paste it here. Okay, let me first add the keyframe. Maybe it will be easier. Then we paste. Alright. On frame 1, ensure that our car body still remains on top. And on frame 48, we ensure that it remains on top. Okay, so right now we're going to make some adjustments. Okay, so let's select the mask. We're going to copy these points. Copy these points. Select just the tires, the tire holes. Just the tire holes. Right, so at this point, instead of it converging to the left, to the right, we want it to converge to the left. So we're going to move this all the way to this side. Move it all the way to this side. Move this out. Cover the tires. Let's pick this. Alright, so as usual on the 48th frame, we're going to flip the body. Alright, so that there will be a reset. Flip, reset. So right now you can see is the back. We're looking at the back of the car. While for this side, we're looking at the front of the car. Okay guys, so the next thing we're going to work on will be on the glasses. So I'm going to go to the skin layer and I'll just draw the glasses myself. So let's return to the main line. I'm going to draw the glasses. Let's start with the door. Front door, then I'll add the back door, Okay, let me add in the front and the back shield. And the back shield. Okay guys, so right now I'm going to select all these points with Ctrl A, and I'm going to use the shape builder tool. So Moho has just detected that these shapes within are going to be the holes on this my vector shape. So I'll just click the create shape tool. Right, so then I'll select the points that I don't want. So select this point and delete it. Select it again and delete it. Select this point, delete. Select this point, delete. Select this point and delete. Right, so now we have a hole through our vector shape. Okay. I think these are too sharp, so let me just smoothen them. Okay, so this is our car. We have the inner part, so I'll just select all these points. Then I'm going to turn off the stroke. Alright, so this is the inner part of my car. So let's return to the car turn. So on the 48th frame, I'm going to select, or before the 48th frame, I'm going to select all the points within. Let's just squash everything. Squash it all. Squash it all. And I'll bring it somewhere here. Let's see if it works. Okay, so I'm going to select just the outer part, and I'll delete all the keyframes for it because I don't want it to squash. Okay, so this is what we have. So right here I'm selecting everything. I'm going to reset. Alright guys, so this is what we have. On the 48th frame, I'm going to select just the shield, and I'm going to delete all the keyframes for the shield. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to move my shield in to look exactly like this. So I'm just going to rearrange my shield. Let's select these parts and move them out a little. At this point, I'm going to select all the parts and reset. Also reset the crop. The curvature too, sorry. So this is what we have, guys, just a simple car rotation. Okay, so let's fix in the front lights. The front light. So I'm going to add a new vector shape. I'll call it my front light. Okay, so we have the lights looking like this. So let's work on that. Let's get something like that. So we have this for our front light. I'm going to make a duplicate. Or before I make a duplicate, let's just get to the parts where we turn the car. So on the 48 frame, let's move in the lights. So after the flip, we'll select everything and reset. Okay, so we have this. Alright, so let's make a duplicate of this. So the duplicate, we're going to flip it and move it out to somewhere here. Then on the 48 frame, we're going to move it in. Then after the flip, we'll select everything and reset. So we've got this for our front car, for the front of our car. So let's get these doors back. So what we're going to do, so we're going to make a duplicate of this skin and call this our door. Right, so the only thing we're going to delete for this door is going to be this big shape. So we'll delete it. And then the back and front shield. So we'll delete it. Delete them. Okay, so you can see right now we still have our door in the right place. See, the door is still covering the door, covering the hole that we just bore. Okay, so we can give our door, can give them an outline so we can see it better. Alright, and our fill skin as well. Let's select it all and give it an outline. Okay, and our tires, let's just change the colors back to black. So that we can see our cars taking shape. Okay, so our car is taking shape right now. Our car is taking shape. Okay, so let's just add in a few things. I'm going to add the under lights and the vents, the two vents. So on the light layer, front light layer, let's just add in those two. Our front vent. So from the front carton and before the 48 frame, let's move things in. We're having an issue. Okay, there, guys, so fixing the front part of our car. Okay, guys, so let's proceed.